Dude. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
we're live. Gonna try to
Wicked.
not make too much noise since you've got a newborn sitting somewhere in the
No,
background.
no,
But
no. She's upstairs, so we're good.
okay, good.
We're
Sound
good. We're
perfect.
good.
Love it.
Oh, Jason froze. No.
Jason Greenberg. I am a writer and content creator for Bucketlist Entertainment. And across from me, looking very pixelated right now, is
Really?
AJ Channer from Fire from the Gods.
Yes. Well, go on. You look. You're super clear. Like I can see everything. I don't.
I did the whole Ethernet thing. I was like, I'm not having any disconnections tonight, man.
Yeah.
There's
I'm so.
no way, no
Yeah.
how.
I don't get the why I'd be pixelated, but yeah. Yeah. I got you super clear, man.
All right,
So
good shit.
this is cool.
All right, good shit. Well, hopefully no issues. We will bang through it while everybody's chiming in. How we're going to do this, like we do every Tuesday for our Q&A Tuesdays, is I'm going to ask a couple of questions that I slaved over for you, and then we are going to make sure there's enough time for all of our viewers to chime in and ask a couple of questions of you themselves.
Wicked.
Um,
Dope. Dope.
not
Dope.
take, not take too much of your time. We know there is breastfeeding to be done.
Yeah. I'm like I got the fake boob like out of like Ben Stiller and Meet the Parents.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be worse. It could be Peter Griffin out of that one episode of Family Guy that haunts all of our
Yeah, when he wanted to breastfeed Stewie.
dreams.
Yeah,
The look of horror.
yeah,
Um,
man.
so I'll dive right into it. Obviously, the first thing I got to ask you is how are you holding up throughout this whole dumpster fire shit show that we're all surviving right now? How are you
Man,
doing?
you know, it started off like I guess like a lot of people. I want to be super productive. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And you know, a lot of things that I wanted to get done, I got done, which is really cool. But
Awesome.
for the most part, you know, I feel like it's almost over. I guess, you know, Texas, we're going to experiment with fully opening 100%. So I guess it's coming to an end. So, you know, it's all a blur, man. What the only real bad thing about it is that because my job and what I do centers around travel
Mhm.
and not being able to travel, not being able to do what I do, which I know is probably, you know, the same issues that a lot of people face. That's been the only real downside. So a lot of there was this ebb and flow, or not ebb and flow. That's not really a way I want to put it, but there were these peaks and valleys of feeling on a high and then feeling depressed, and you know, am I ever going to play a show again? And you know, American Sun was the biggest feat of our career as a band, and you know, the record was doing so well right off the bat, and we had this cool song right now, which everyone was starting to like, and it was a bit of a new direction for us all as musicians. So it really got to this point was like, wow, man, I feel like I've been robbed of an opportunity. You know, like when some bands put out a record, they put out like, especially one that they're really proud of and that's doing well, they want to tour it and they get that opportunity to tour it. So I kind of feel like, damn, you know, the fate robbed me of that opportunity. But the good thing is that little things like this, what we're doing now, has really helped and has kind of kept me a little sane. And yeah, I had another kid, so you know, hey, I guess it was baby making time, you know. So
All right, well, I'm home. Let's put another one in the oven. Uh,
yeah. It was good to be home because the first
for
pregnancy I was
sure.
not there. You know, my first kid, I was just on tour, and you know, there were days in Fahrenheit, like 90-degree heat, you know, on 102-degree heat, and you got a pregnant woman coming to Warp Tour, you know, so it was brutal. You know what I'm saying? So it was rough, but I was good. It was good. I was able to be home and just
For
get
sure.
integrated into like what that family life looks like. But I'm ready
Mhm.
to play some fucking shows, so
Oh, I
so
can imagine. And
yeah,
play a show you did at least. For anybody who
yeah, we
missed it,
did.
it was a couple of weeks, actually a little over a month ago now. You got to play American Sun in its entirety as part of a live stream with Il Nino and
Yes,
Ira the Hero.
Pyro. Yes,
Yeah,
that felt a bit like
um,
justice, man.
absolutely. And completely kissing your ass. Absolutely crushed it. I
Thank
am
you, man.
curious as to why you went the route of just playing the new record. Was there any particular feeling that made you steer away from playing anything off of narrative at all?
You know, great question, man. But the thing was because of like what I stated before, because we felt like we really didn't get an opportunity to because the plan was to start integrating a lot more of American Sun into the set for the
For
tour.
sure.
And the tour we did with the Who in Europe really went well for us, but we were still playing narrative tunes. And the guys were kind of like excited. We're all like the label was really excited about American Sun. So, you have to get, inventive with these things, right? So it's like, oh, well, we didn't have the opportunity to tour. So why don't we get inventive with this live stream? What can we do for this live stream to make people really want to watch it? Because we did another live stream during the summer, which we did
Mhm.
for charity, and we played songs of narrative, the normal kind of like mixed up set. And then we were like, well, let's just do American Sun in its entirety, which was a bit of a daunting task because we had never played all of those songs in one take, in one like
For sure.
situation or one sitting. Even when we recorded the record, it was over an amount of days.
Punch in, yeah.
So, and we'd never played a set that long as a band. Like, yeah, we jammed,
Yeah.
in the studio for, hours on end, but playing it live and then one after another and just being in, so it was something new for us. And that's
Mhm.
why I was like, okay, let's just do American Sun. Although we did shoot some songs of narrative. We just didn't release it for the live stream because of time. So I think we're going to put some of those out just content wise and let people enjoy that.
Why the hell not? Why the hell
Yeah, yeah,
not?
exactly. I'm
I
still
was
very
also
proud of
very impressed
narrative.
with the rooftop
Yeah,
that you guys
yeah,
did.
yeah.
I was thinking in my head, like, how is that not getting shut down right now?
Oh yeah, dude. Mohawk. The problem with Mohawk. Well, the problem. The good thing is that Mohawk is like this iconic venue here in Austin, and
Okay.
unfortunately, due to COVID, I think they're closing their doors. But maybe with us opening up, that again, that might help them save the place. But I wanted to do something that kind of showcased Austin. I'm not originally from Texas. Neither
Mhm.
is Richie. So we've become like these kind of adopted sons of Texas, And shout out Sons of Texas, the band who are actually friends of ours. But we've become like this adopted sons of Texas and Austin becoming our hometown. We really wanted to put it on and put it down for like the city, you know what I'm saying? And there's so much that's happened there with the BLM stuff and the rash of crime that's just taken with people just being so stuck in their homes and being in fire from the gods is worth a drink or two in Texas, you know what I'm saying? So and
Oh
especially in
yeah.
Austin. So we were like, yo, let's put it down and showcase the city. And we shot our first video, Excuse Me, in Austin, and it was we showed parts of East Austin, which is the traditionally kind of Black and Latino area. So we were like, yo, let's really try to put it down for the city and really kind of spark some life and bring some attention to what we're doing as a band.
Understandably.
Yeah.
And both of those displays were well done. Excuse Me is a fantastic video,
Thank
especially
you.
considering that's such early work for you, or at least early in terms of you being really out into the world work for
Yeah,
you guys. You have an
yeah,
illustrious career before that, at least underground wise.
yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
but it's and then on top of it, the live stream as well. It was really it was beautifully put together,
Thank
and
you.
there's a lot of conversation versus on the whole, doing it an actual live stream where you're playing right there for people as they're watching it versus playing something, recording it, and having it kind of doctored a little bit and sent
Right.
out and everything like that. So yours obviously being a recorded performance, it was still absolutely gorgeous. And people should, if they are listening, check out for the next one. Moving on from that, though,
And little known fact that all of the musicians except for the guys in Hyro's band, but Hyro, we're all Texas based.
yeah,
Well, Hyro lives in LA, but he's from Houston, so it was like
still
let's
Texas
have a
based.
Texas night. So yeah, just throw that out there for the people that didn't know.
Absolutely. And that is fucking cool that you guys did as much of like a Texas's own,
Yeah,
which, especially now with what Texas just had to go through,
yeah,
Texas doesn't need as much love as it can get right now.
yeah,
I'll
bro.
say
It
that.
was a rough week, man.
I
It was a
mean,
rough week.
I think I would be remiss not to ask how did that experience go for you in your home? How were you able to persevere through that?
Yeah.
And
Well,
what was it really like from your end of the scope?
man, we lucked out because when it happened, we were still awake. So it was like 2 a.m. when the lights went out for us, right? And then we were like, what are we gonna do? When we woke up, it was like lights are still off, and the news, on the phone, people are like, power's getting shut down all over Austin, all over Texas. What's gonna happen? Immediately, we sprang into action because we had a newborn. So we're like, we can't stay in this house without power. We don't know how long it's gonna happen. I've been in blackouts before, so I'm like, rolling blackouts, maybe a couple minutes, maybe an hour, but they're like, yo, we don't know when this shit's coming back on. And it's still snowing, and the temperature's gonna go down to like minus, So we're like, all right. So we got out, we got a hotel, and we just roughed it in a hotel, whole family for a week. But a lot of friends, a lot of people were affected, and I think people are still getting like power back now. And 11 days after, people were just getting back water and stuff like that in various parts of the city of Austin and in the state of Texas. So, being from Montreal, you know what a tough winter looks like. But, that's completely out of the question for Texans. Me,
Yeah.
I've lived in London, I've lived in New York City most of my life. So winter is like, that was like, oh, this is my time to shine. I can show you Southerners how it's done, But the
You have
fact
quite
is,
literally survived all of the possible climates. It's hilarious.
right, exactly. But we were like reduced to third world conditions in like a matter of hours. And in the grand scheme of things, how this system of capitalism and the way we live our lives in this progressive Western society, you don't think that resources are supposed to be depleted when something like that happens, albeit the weather, inclement weather is a quote unquote act of God, and anything can happen. Hurricanes have destroyed parts of the East Coast before. But the fact is, being without power and water and everything just shutting down in such a short span of time, people were freaking the fuck out.
Yeah,
And rightly so, which is rightly so, because those things are just not supposed to happen in Texas. And you have these luxurious high rises that in downtown Austin that are springing up all over nowhere with all these amenities, and the pipe burst in there, and now you're flooded. And now you see how people live in Nicaragua. You know what I'm saying? When there's an issue, when the levee breaks, when in a third world country, not to just call out Nicaragua, because I've lived in third world conditions before, so I don't shy away from that. But it did hurt to see a lot of people go through that. You know what I'm saying? And just like people have to get back to work, and then they're going back where places are lit up and they're working. They're like, yeah, I'm going back to my house and I have no power. It just fucking sucks. But we made it through, man. We tried, did a little money raising and stuff like that, charity stuff. Just tried to just help out as much as possible. So we made it. Then I went immediately into the studio to start demoing music right after. Like as soon as the power came back on, we're like, yo, we got to start working. So we just got back to work.
So that is a fantastic segue if I've ever fucking seen one.
I'm getting good at these, man.
Reading my motherfucking mind over here, man. Number 3. You guys have been teasing and teasing and teasing, and I have been sitting here trying to restrain myself from public erections, even though I'm not that much in public right now. But,
that's hard, man.
You're teasing.
Hey, did you
hard is the word. Okay, this went to a place.
Dude, I'm not that clever, man. I can't believe I got to tell my girl that one. I'm like, yo, look what I did on the live today. I made it funny.
I was a naughty boy today.
Yeah, I made it funny. But go on, brother. God. Go on. My apologies.
This is going in my autobiography. You've been teasing the third record. You've been teasing number 3. So I'm assuming, obviously, you can say it's a third record. It's not like some, random teaser for a number 3 of anything other than a record, which is fantastic.
Yeah, man. We're working on LP3.
So I gotta ask a bunch of questions about this, but we'll keep it quick because we have a crowd and I want them to get their chance. Where are we at in the process of the record right now? Obviously, are the songs very written? Early. Are you really like going in there, or is it a pre-prod? What are we looking at?
It's very, very early. We're just really demoing because yes, we all do live in Texas, but we live in various parts of Texas.
Okay.
We're just kind of like now everyone's kind of working on their own. I went into the studio with Richie, so we have a little And then we have another collaborator that we normally work with that a lot of people don't know about. And he's really been a big part of Fire from the Gods, even before I got into the band. Robbie Joyner in Houston. He has been a massive part of the writing process with Fire. So he and Richie have a studio in Houston. I go there. The other guys, they kind of get together at Drew, who has a nice little studio set up at his place. They start demoing stuff, and then we kind of just put it all together. So it's really, that's where we are right now. But the reason why the teasers and all like the hype started are because like we're super excited about what's coming out, and it's like, whoa, we really didn't, we didn't know, again, because that's just how Fire from the Gods does it. We just go in and try, and we just try it, and if it works, it works, and we're really happy. Even though it being still so early, we're still very happy about what's happening.
Understandably, man. And if it's even an inkling like your last two records, I am likewise excited.
Thank you,
Is
bro.
there anything that is concrete enough that you're able to maybe leak for us, beggars
Well,
here? So a
yeah,
name,
not really, but I will say this, the progression, Fire from the Gods, and me personally, the message means everything. And I stress it and I say it over and over again. I might probably sound like a broken record at this point, but the message of our music, the themes of our music are more important to us than any aspect of who we are as a band. And I think it's because we are five really mature dudes. Well, we're kind of immature, but we're mature in the sense that vis-a-vis my hard joke. But we are like, we're at a point where we're building families, we're learning about ourselves. There's a lot that the world's going through. And as a commentator on that, I think it's about time that we've gone through the anger aspect. The anger was in narrative, and the pain of struggle was in narrative. And American Son was kind of like the struggle still continues. Life goes on, and we still have to talk about it, but let's talk about it in a way where we can all understand it and try and all understand each other. And then the other aspect of the message is inner strength. There's peace, there's unity and inner strength. And I think this record, we're talking about perseverance and how we can continue to persevere. And after the year that we've all had, the whole world has had, I think we've kind of gone through this thing together, except for Wuhan. But we're all going through this issue, of being shut down and losing jobs and not, on the George Floyd stuff and the racial issues and the racial reckoning, as people call it, and the quote unquote new normal. I think there's a lot that goes into what that means and what that looks like, and we're expressing that, and I'm expressing that through my art, through which is heavy music. And I think that's where we're going. And a lot of songs, it's taken a less, say, political and social tone and taken more of a personal tone. And I think that's what people need right now. People need to hear that you can make it through this no matter what. And it's good, man. There's some heavy stuff like we haven't played like super heavy stuff like on narrative in a long time. So we're coming up with some really good, tasteful, heavy sounding music, which is, definitely what we want. But at the same time, we also want to continue on the route of what we did with like Right Now and Break the Cycle and things of that nature, which kind of showcased a different side of the band.
I mean, I would have to agree with you, especially with the concept that American Son is maybe like a little bit of a lighter record. It, to me,
Yeah.
when I was hearing the singles, I was like, okay, so this is definitely a lot cleaner than some of the stuff off of narrative. But when the whole record came out and when it was listened to as a story, as it should be, which is why I fucking hate singles, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You and me both, man.
It's such a beautiful thing to hear from front to back. And to me, some of your lighter songs are what really stand out the most to me. So, make you feel it and stuff like that. The moments where you really try to touch with your crowd, I feel like is the moments that Fire from the Gods really shines the most, and especially yourself. So, but as a connoisseur of all things heavy and angry,
exactly. As metal fans, we want to hear, there's still like an aspect of our music that has to be aggressive and pissed off. And
I mean, it feels
yeah,
good, doesn't it? Like it's a
yeah,
good time
oh
to
yeah,
hear stuff
oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, 1000%, man.
Cue erection jokes. All right, so moving on. I do want to, as much as I would love to spend the entire day talking heavy with you, I don't get to talk reggae with people very often. And
Okay,
especially being a
yeah,
guy that talks to a lot of metalheads all day long, I don't, and I am very much a reggae fan myself. I would
really,
get
okay,
around my
big up, yeah, man.
I have a gorgeous picture of Toots Hibbert hanging on my wall right now that I got as a
Yes,
fantastic Christmas
yes,
gift from my very best friend. So to get a chance to talk reggae is primo to me. So when I first heard "Excuse Me," the where other people would maybe hear a little more of a hip hop influence, I heard reggae. I big time heard reggae,
right,
which I
right.
hope I'm not off the mark for.
No,
Um, so I really want to know what were some of your most influential reggae presences in your life coming up, and while also at the same time, for anybody watching, a big amount of love for Bunny Wailer, who just passed away
yo,
today.
rest in
Um,
peace.
hard news. As
Rest in
has like the
power.
reggae scene in its entirety has been taking a shot to the knee here, but any particular names that you can mention or moments that you can mention where reggae was really present in your life?
Oh yeah, man, for sure. So obviously, don't hide that I grew up Jamaican. My folks are Jamaican. There's a massive Caribbean presence in Canada, so you kind of know what that looks like.
Hell yeah, man.
But my dad worked with a lot of artists, and he produced, he helped write, he booked, he did a lot of things in the reggae scene, and so I was always around reggae artists, Coco T, Buju Banton. I was around Beanie Man and Bounty Killer and all those guys and Spice and all those like big dancehall names because that's the era that my dad was very prevalent in. Not so much the root stuff, roots, to the extent of like, Joe Culture and all that. I was around those guys a lot because, um, again, my dad booked shows, so every now and then, I was around Sizzler and Capleton and Barris Hammond. My dad worked with Barris Hammond. He worked with Gregory Isaac. So a laundry list of reggae, top reggae performers and artists. And that's kind of, I've watched a lot and learned a lot about performing in church and stuff like that. But really and truly, like a lot of what I do and my movements on stage and my nuances on the way I sing
Mad reggae.
it's all reggae. It's all like big time reggae performance. But again, reggae, punk rock has its roots in reggae. Rock music has roots in reggae. Hip hop has a lot of roots in reggae. A lot of the early guys, Grandmaster Flash and KRS-One, and even like Fife from Tribe Called Quest. Those people all have Caribbean roots, and a lot of the selector stuff started with reggae artists just kind of spitting over beats. So a lot of that, man, was very influential on me as a youngster. I used to go to all the reggae Sunsplash and all these big festivals and be backstage with these crazy performers. And reggae, guys are flamboyant. Elephant Man comes out dressed like a full pirate costume with a parrot on his shoulder. Just very demonstrative. And so I just drew from that. And a lot of the concepts of reggae, were the concepts and things that I grew up with. I grew up poor, hungry, desperate. So a lot of people from the ghetto and from the streets, especially in Jamaica, where my dad and my family are from, it was rough, the slums. And so a lot of those guys, the way they expressed themselves through their music was very influential on me, and that's why I had to. I didn't want to so much. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about gangbanging and drugs and all that stuff
No.
because that's just not where my head's at.
Huh.
But I understand it. But I wanted to talk about the struggle and guys like Bob Marley. Bob's philosophy and the way he lived his life, and Bunny Wailer and Peter Tosh and all those originals and the Rastafarian movement. A lot of that was very influential on me, and I think it translates well into metal because I have this theory, and I talk about like guys like bands like Cannibal Corpse and Suffocation, and bands like deicide and death metal in general. It's like hippie music, but super heavy, because these guys are big weed smokers. They all got dreads, and they're just singing about what fucking makes them happy. And even if it's like necrophiliac or something like that, or it's like craziness or necrophilia, something crazy that they're talking about, or something fantasy, and that I just thought it blends very well. And the guys like, Skindred and Benji and them, they did something special when they just combined it and just said, we're going to make like heavy dancehall music. So that was a bit of an influence too, but not so much where I just stayed shied away from making heavy reggae and basically just taking other aspects of that of music and just basically just kind of just integrating it into Fire from the Gods' music. And excuse me, which I've said it before, and I don't know if you knew about this, but I did not like the song. Really? I was not into it. And it wasn't even that I wasn't into it. It was so much that we needed a song badly for narrative. And at like 2 a.m. in the studio, we're like smoking weed and like, what are we going to do? We have one more day in the studio to write. We have to start recording. We need one more song for pre-pro. What are we going to do? And then, the Redemption song, we were listening and just kind of just jamming. And then I just came up with, excuse me, Mr. Officer, that, and, I can't walk this road forever. And which is basically like, I can't do this forever. I can't sit here and not be able to produce. I can't sit here and not be able to live life to its fullest. And, and not turn, there's just the common themes of Fire from the Gods' music went into that hook. And again, that was just part of the painful process that was narrative. And song blew up. And it was a song that I was just like, whoa, I'm not even that into the song. But that's not even the single I wanted to lead with. I wanted to lead with Public Enemy. And everyone in the label was yeah, I was like, that's the song.
That song's hardcore as a motherfucker. I guess I could hear you wanted to lead with that.
Yeah, I was like, I want to lead with that. And then everyone was just like, nah, man, this shit is cool, dude. The reggae is cool. It's sick. Let's go with it. It's you. And I'm like, yeah, it is me, but it's not this. But you know what? I learned to listen to cooler heads and to smarter heads that know much more about the business than me. And so we did it. And thankfully, it leads us to being able to do things like this, talk to people that are in Montreal, Canada, that are impressed by our music,
Well, I mean, without going too deep into it. So the first time I saw you, which I mentioned just before we went live, I was set to review the Of Mice and Men show that was stopping in Montreal that night.
Okay.
And I figured, I got a couple of minutes while I'm still in my day job. I went and I listened to all the bands that were opening. So I listened to Cane Hill and all of that. And when I got to you guys, I was hair on my head, like hair standing up immediately. Like, I'm not going to beat the hard joke to death. But I messaged my very best friend, whom is the person that puts all of this together for me, and I was like, okay, you absolutely need to hear this band. So it's awesome to hear you mention Skindred. That was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, this is very Skindred, but it's true blue metalcore, and I love that.
Yes.
So, and that night, you and I ended up running into each other. You commented on a Kill Switch Engage vest that I wear literally every day of my fucking life.
Yeah, man. The Montreal date was cool because it was freezing for one.
Fuck, was it ever? Yeah.
And I ran into a mate of mine from England who I hadn't seen in like 5 years. He worked at the bar next door to the club, which was fucking nuts. It's probably longer than that I hadn't seen.
Yeah. Fucking little Burgundy Lion.
Yes, he worked next door at the bar, and I'm like, mate, what the fuck are you doing in here?
This is fucking hilarious.
Which is weird. But it was a wild day, man. It was a wild day. We smoked like this. We smoked this joint. I was like this long, bro.
Fucking right, you did.
It was long.
I'm trying to think, were we legal by that point? I think we were. I think we had just gone legal by that point. Where like all of Canada is now legal.
Last time I was in Montreal, man, we were at dispensaries almost every day, man. Yeah, I dig that.
A lot of them, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess it's right near where we were, where our Airbnb was. There was like one, like two doors down, literally.
Yeah.
So we were hitting it a lot, man. I dig Montreal a lot. I can't stress enough how cool I think that town is.
Come back. We miss you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, man. Of course.
All right, so moving along, we are running out of time. I don't want to take you too far away from what you got to do. I do have a little section that I go through with all of the poor souls that are stuck with me in these Q&As that I like to call Battle of the Blank. And in that, I usually do a deep dive on the personal interests of whatever musician that I'm speaking to. And one thing that I found while stalking the living shit out of you was your haul from this last Christmas and all of these insane live DVDs that you got.
Yeah.
And I noticed a particular trend. You seem to be a big nu metal fan, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I only ask.
Yeah.
Because in Battle of the Blank, I basically make you pit a fictional situation where two fictional characters are in a fight to the fucking death, and I need you to tell me who would win.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a nu metal edition, sort of ish. I'm just having fun with it. So first example, and probably a fucking huge one for you: who wins in a fight to the death, Godsmack or Korn?
Oh man. Woo!
Get it out of you,
dude. Oh, that's tough, dude. I'm gonna go with Korn, man. I really do like Godsmack. Like Sully is a big inspiration of mine, but I'm gonna go with
live DVDs later, I think so.
yeah. That's gonna be Korn, dog.
Good answer. Another tough one for you is probably gonna be Limp Bizkit versus Rage Against the Machine. Who wins in a fight to the death?
Oh man. Dude, this guy in Australia did the same thing to me too, but he did it with metalcore. And I was like, come on, guys.
Now I gotta sue him. Stealing my idea.
Wow. Okay. Rage Against the Machine is my favorite band, but like Slipknot, I have an undying affection for Limp Bizkit because I just think that band's so cool. But I'm gonna go with Rage, man. You can't fail with Tom and Zach and Brad and those dudes, man.
Damn. This is going to be the hardest one, and I kept it for last for a reason. Who wins in the fight to the death? Nope. POD or Seven Dust.
Ooh. It depends on who's watching.
I can't see who's on
the live one. I can't see who's on the live. Damn.
Who are you gonna be getting an angry text message from tomorrow? LeJean or Sonny?
Right? I mean, all right, so Vinny's tough, man. And so is Clint. Clint's ripped, dude. But PLD's from San Diego, bro. They're from a tough town, so Southtown. But music wise and shit, dude. I don't know. Fuck, man. I'm gonna go with. I love these because it does. I think I overthink them, but probably I'm gonna go with Seven Dust, man. Just the discography alone is just
NOLA represent, baby.
Yeah. But I do love POD, man. Sonny's a good human being, man. He's a good dude.
And
so is LeJean. LeJean's another amazing guy too, man.
Here's to hope you got LeJean on that next record because
yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say because I asked LeJean and Clint. Clint actually came to the studio while we were recording, and he was working on his solo stuff, so he had like a day, and we just kind of like left for a day, and he went and did some of his thing, and I was like, "Yo, you want to play on the record?" And he and Richie were talking about it, and it never happened, but. I did ask LeJean because LeJean was in LA at the same time, and I was like, "Come over," and he couldn't do it, but because he was busy as well, very busy. But Sonny was like, "Yo, I'll do it,"
and that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
we actually had, not myself, but of course, the mighty Liz Imperiale, whom for anybody watching is behind the curtain right now, pulling all the strings, had a fantastic conversation with Clint on our Instagram a couple of months ago. So if you want to check that out, for everybody watching as well as yourself, AJ, please do. Shameless self-promotion.
Clint's a ledge, man. Clint's a ledge.
Clint is a sweet fucking dude.
Yeah, and a very, very good musician. Like, I don't know if people know, but that dude could have been like a giant. He could have been as big as like Toby Keith if he like went that route. He could have been It's not that he's not massive now, but everyone knows knows what that means with Seven Dust. When you talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the
Well, there
level
was
of
a specific
fame.
kind of massive and a very specific kind of Keith, and not necessarily everybody
Exactly.
knows this name. You know what I mean? So,
Exactly.
um, but we'll start to wrap it up here because I know I've got some impatient fans waiting to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
I do have one question I have to ask you. It is part of the job application when we start working at Bucketlist Entertainment. So it is the cheesiest thing, and I fucking love it. What is left for you, either yourself, AJ Channer, or for Fire from the Gods, left on your bucket list? What do you need to accomplish before you die?
Uh this is like a lame one, but I've never jumped out of a plane because I'm really scared to do it.
Or I'll do it
And
with you.
every opportunity we've had, I've been like, no, no, we're not going. I like executive decision. They're like, yo, you wanna go jump out of a plane tomorrow? I'm like, no, we have something to do. We have a meeting, But I think if it happens and we're all together, I'd like to do it with my band. I'd like to see them, see how that I feel more safer jumping out of
I'll
the
fucking
plane
catch
because
you, bro.
if
I'll be
we
on the
all
ground.
die, then I know all of our families are taken care of. I don't want to die and they still live. I want to be. We all go together.
You're not replacing me, motherfucker. I don't
Nah,
give a
fuck
shit.
that. We
You're
all go
getting in that
together.
damn plane with me.
Yep. You jumping out with me.
I fucking love that, man. I absolutely fucking love that. All right, so jumping out of a plane.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, that's still something I need to do myself. So I tell you now, if your band doesn't do it, I'll do it with you, dude. For everybody that's watching, you've been so patient. We deeply fucking appreciate it. We're gonna go through a couple of quick questions. Hopefully, you've still got time, and then we will wrap it up. So, my darling lizard, first question, please. Favorite song of Limp Bizkit, and that is asked by Marvin Vallejo.
Oh, Counterfeit, man.
Hmm.
Oldie but a goodie.
Deep cut. All right. I dig
Yeah.
it. I dig it.
Yeah.
Keep them
Fuck yeah.
coming. What else do we got? While we're waiting for that next question, do you got any particular reason why, like, what about that song really speaks to you?
Just the sick, like the harmonics, man. That riff is just nasty. It's
Something wrong
simple,
with
but
Wes.
super nasty.
Wes is truly a freak of nature in so many ways.
Visionary.
Mm.
Sherry, my homegirl. She said,
All
"When
right.
we gonna get, dude? I promise, Sherry. Like, I've tried to get it done, but everyone is like, no more Patreon, bro. Just get the record done. Don't, we've recorded a ton of like cool content, and everyone's just like, just keep it, hold on to it. We're not gonna put it on Patreon. We're going to finish the record and use a lot of that as build up. And I think we're kind of putting together a DVD, or not a DVD, like a documentary of some sort, which I probably shouldn't have talked about, but I don't give a shit. We're putting together something, we're putting together something, about the band, the history of the band. And so I think we're keeping a lot of that stuff for that.
Mm-hmm. I fucking love that, man. I absolutely love that. And that also very much obviously speaks to the itch that everybody kind of has. By Bucketlist Entertainment, we actually mean Liz herself, our mighty queen and savior. Where would each member of Fire from the Gods be in placement of a human centipede? Who's eating whose ass, AJ?
That's a Drew question, man. He'd be so quick to answer.
Is it a hard one? Is the question,
dude? Who gets shit on, right?
That's usually how it goes. Who in the band eats the most shit, my man?
I'm gonna go me because I work the hardest, but that's fucked up. That's not true. I'd be at the front. This is fucked up.
You'd be talking the most shit while you're doing it.
Yeah. I'd probably be at the front, and then maybe Richie, then maybe James. Damn, I feel bad because I would never want to do this to my guys, man.
But you shitting in everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I want to know what you're eating right before.
I'm probably the most difficult to deal with, and as far as member wise. But yeah, bro. Well, we get along. I couldn't answer a question. I feel terrible. I feel terrible answering that question. But we watched it. We watched it.
I have not. I had one experience where I was living with a bunch of people way back when, and I came home and I just heard like a bunch of uncomfortable sounds coming from the TV, and I'm like, what fuck are you guys watching? Like, it's called
Yeah,
Human Centipede. I'm
wild,
like, what the fuck is it? They
wild.
explained it, and and they're like, you want to watch
Yeah,
this? I'm like, fuck no. And I went in
yeah,
my
that
room.
shit
I
was
just did my
wild,
shit
man.
on my computer,
Yeah.
and all I could hear was screaming and crying for the rest of the
Ugh. It
night.
makes me think of my ex-girlfriend, man. I was like, ugh, ugh.
That's a
Yuck,
story I need to hear one day.
yuck.
Moving
But
back to Marvin here.
yeah. What interesting coming to Central America? Like, a lot of interest, man. We've done Mexico, quite a bit. We want to do Belize. I know does shows. I know Guatemala does shows. Costa Rica does shows. So I'm talking to the El Nino guys, and that reminds me, I gotta call Dave. Um, yeah, we've been talking about doing it, and you know those guys are like the Beatles in Central and South America. Like they really love that band, and they fuck with them heavy down there. So we're trying to set something up where we can go with say El Nino, you know, and
Good shit.
probably like, but very interested, dude. I love everything about Mexico, man. I love, uh, you know, I've been to Mexico quite a bit and Costa Rica, so I really love that part of the world.
Mm. That would be sick and something I would 1,000% travel for. We'll try to get, we'll say two more in, and then we're going to wrap it up for the night, everybody. So Riley Rowe asked a great question. I saw you guys at Warped Tour a few years back in Pomona, California. Which
Hmm.
bands did you befriend during that trek?
Oh, cool, man. That's a good question. Well, a lot of the bands that kind of our peer bands we knew before, like the Sila guys, we were friends with. Fit for a King being Texas based, they knew a lot about us. I knew the Amir guys for a while, knew Frankie for a little bit. But some of the bands that we had never met, we actually became really good friends with Guar. You're like
Fuck yes.
the Guar dudes like watched us all the time, anytime they could. They were super awesome. They even tried to get us to go on tour right after Warped Tour with them, and
Oh.
it didn't work out because we ended up doing the POD tour.
Mm.
But there were a lot of bands, man, that we really like. We became close with. Some of the guys became close with like individual members of other bands. Like JMO became really close to the guitar player from Hatebreed because they would fish together. We'd get
Nice.
into a town and they'd find out what the fishing spot was in Uber and go fish and hang out all day.
Fuck
Um,
yes.
yeah. So he was really cool with the Hatebreed dude. The Dance Gavin Dance guys, which we were friends before, but we had never been on tour together. So we really like broke down the Memphis Mayfire bands, you know, like the bands on Rise, like the Rise bands, which was weird because we were all from different parts of the country and
Yeah.
world, but we really became like friends. I really liked, I watched, you know, Knock Loose. Those are the homies, man. We, you know, became real cool with them. I watched, the band, the English band, they called Boston something. They were sick. I really dug those guys. They were on Warped Tour Boston. I forgot what they were called. But there were a lot of other bands, man.
Help
Warped
us
Tour
out, Chad. You got something.
that was years ago. I forgot. But Boston, I forgot the name of them. They were English though. They were sick. We kind of broke down a lot with them, drank and hung out at the barbecues after with those guys a lot. Warped Tour was
Well,
good vibes, man.
and absolutely is. We're going to take this last one here from
So,
David
the
Koffler.
big
AJ,
one.
what are your thoughts on Tommy Vex leaving Bad Wolves?
The big one. So
Yeah.
I've been instructed, you know, people have said, don't talk about it whatsoever. Don't talk
Hey, if
about
that's a
that.
blacklister, that's a blacklister.
But in this regard, I will say this. Tommy and I have been friends for a long time. I've known Tommy Vex, watched him in many bands. We literally come from the same music scene, the Brooklyn hardcore music scene. So I knew Tommy before Bad Wolves. I knew Doc before Bad Wolves. And oddly, Chris, Doc, and I played in 3 separate bands on the same
Holy
show
shit.
back in 2007.
That is so sick.
And it's crazy how we were like, yeah, we were talking about it. And Chris was like, I was in a band on that show. And I was like, dude, what? So the history with those guys goes back. So I don't shy away from this. And it's unfortunate, you know, that happens with bands. It happens. And Tommy, I will say again, and Tommy's, to a credit to Tommy Vex, as Tommy deals with a lot of stuff on whatever, you know, whoever he is, and people talk about Tommy. But I will say this. There were times in my life, in my path, where I was going through a lot of fucked up shit. The booze, drugs. I was really not in a good place.
Mhm.
And a lot of people would, you know, they'll be good. They'd answer a phone call, you know, they talk, you know, you just get with friends. And I will say this, Tommy is the type of person that no matter what time it was, no matter where he was in the world, if I text a guy, he would text right back with something like, be strong, bro. I got you. Set up a time when I could call him. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
whatever's said about Tommy Vex, Tommy and I go way back, and you know, Tommy's a dude that's been there for a lot of people. So
For sure.
it just
And
sucks.
one of the amazing things, like you said earlier in this interview, is that one of the big messages that you and Fire from the Gods often try to relay is, you know, loving people and loving your community despite your differences and despite your diversities.
Right.
And in those
Exactly.
differences, you know, that is a stellar answer to still say, you know, regardless of what is going on with him,
We don't agree on
and this is
shit.
how I feel about it.
We don't agree on anything, but Tommy's
And
still my dude.
That's cool,
You know?
man.
He's
That
still
is
my
cool.
He's still my brother. I don't give a shit. He's still my bro.
Strong way to
I still
end
love
that
Doc
fucking
too.
question.
I talked to Doc yesterday too, and Doc and all those dudes. I love those dudes with all my heart. But you know, Tommy's Tommy. So,
I actually
God bless
opened
him.
for God forbid way back when. So Doc,
Oh,
Doc has a
sick.
very
Yeah,
special place in my special place in my heart. That was probably the only decent show I ever played in my life. So we're gonna wrap it up from there, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Everybody that tuned in, thank you so fucking much for coming out. We here at Bucketlist Entertainment are going to be taking a little break for a month. We have some shit we're going to be working on for you, and we're going to be coming back strong in April with a ton of great content, some amazing interviews that we are so stoked to announce for you guys. So stay tuned. If you're not already following us, please check it out at Bucketlist Entertainment on Facebook, bucketlistentertainment.com. Bucketlist Entertainment everywhere except for YouTube, where we are Bucketlist TV. Your patience has been incredible. AJ, thank you so fucking much for coming through.
Appreciate it.
We absolutely need to do this again, hopefully with a little more time, hopefully with a little more flair. We will figure it out, and hopefully I get to chill with you the next time you come in for some kind of a crazy fucking party in Montreal.
Let's do it, brother. Let's do it.
All
Let's do it.
I got a whole liver ready to sacrifice for you. So,
all right, wicked.
Once again, thanks everybody for coming out. Stay tuned. We will hopefully see you soon. Keep an eye on Fire from the Guys. They're going to be coming out with a new record. Who knows when?
Hopefully,
I should probably ask. Do we have a projected release?
No, but I know we're going to try and get something done with. Hopefully by the end of the year, but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Fingers fucking crossed, man.
There's a lot coming up from our label, so we're kind of behind as far as getting things done, but you know, we're working.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, fuck, come on, man. It's COVID. You know, the fact that you guys are able to get together at all is already fucking fantastic. So
Exactly. Oh, thank you guys so much, man.
Absolute pleasure, and thank you again. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll hopefully catch you soon.
Laters.